All right. Good morning, everyone. So today, I'm going to quickly show us how to set up our Figma um, account, and also how to start designing right in our Figma, right from our Figma dashboard. So it's a very simple task. You just go to your search, your web browser. So I prefer you using Google Chrome. Just type in figma.com, hit the enter key on your keyboard. Then once it comes up, you can log in if you have already created one before, or you click on get started for free. So once you have done that, the the place for you to enter your details it comes up as you can see this model. Then you enter your email. So because I've already created one before, I'll just enter my email and my password. But if you have not done that before, so just click on continue with Google. Then use your Gmail account to set it up. When you set it up, it will get to a place where Figma will ask you some set of questions. So if you like, you can skip those questions until it brings you finally to your dashboard, which we are also going to see the same dashboard as I log in my details here, my email and my password. So let me just enter my email here. Then I'll say continue with then here I'll enter my password. You enter your password here. Then you log in. Authenticating as much confidence is 807. So sometimes it takes time for this to open. Depends on your network for this dashboard to open sometimes. So when yours is taking time, just leave it for a while to surely comes up. So this is my dashboard. As I log in with this email and my password, this is my dashboard. So the same thing with you also. For those people that just want to create Figma accounts. So when I like what I showed you earlier, that when you click on that continue with Google, so you just continue with your Gmail. It takes you to where you just enter your Gmail email, your Gmail, sorry. Then after that, it takes you to where you have some questions to answer. So those questions are from Figma, not your Gmail again. You also just use your Gmail to have access to Figma. So Figma will now start asking you some questions. If you like, you can answer the question. And if you like, you can skip those questions until it brings you to this same dashboard, like what you can see here. So our first design task is for us to go to design. You click on design here. So FigJam, slides, all this will have more, understanding on all this later on as we continue in this course. So here we click on design. So for you to create designs in Figma account that you have just created, you need to create design file in the Figma account, because it is in that Figma design file that you will create your designs. So to do this, what you need to do is just to click on this design. When you click on this design, sometimes you see new design or you just see design. So you click on design here. So when you click on design, it also takes some time before it comes up. So all this taking time and this and that, it actually depends on your network. If your network is fast, it will quickly open up. I'm not talking about data now. Even though you have 100 gig and the network is slow, you still do the same thing. So it depends on your network, how fast it is. So just wait for a while for it to comes up. So as this is coming up, the first thing we need to do is to give our new design file a name. I'm going to give it a name. So to give the design file a name, there's a place that you click on, which I will show you now when it comes up. You click on the place that I will call Untitled. You see a word name called Untitled. So when you click on that word, you just use your backspace key to erase that Untitled, so that you can type a particular name or the name you want to give to that file, which is the name of your choice. Then you save it. Now, how do you save? Just hit your enter key on the keyboard. So that means you have saved the file name. So you can just say next. Now this is just trying to show us what all these are all about. So you can just say next to this one too. So this is being the first time I'm using this account. That account I entered earlier, the Gmail. So that's why it's showing this for the first time. So after this, if I'm to come back to use this again, it will be showing all this again. So you can just cancel this one. So later on we'll talk about what this asset is for. But now you go to file. Just go to file, which is your new design file. So this is Untitled I was talking about. Just click on it. When you click on it, you can see that the blue color covered this word Untitled. So you can just hit your backspace key or delete key just to take it away. Then you type your own file name, the name you want to give to your design file. So I can just say maybe my first design lesson or tutorial. First design lesson, or you just say tutorial. Then how do you save? You just click, you just hit your enter key on the keyboard. You don't have a place that you go to file, then draw it. You bring out like Microsoft Word or any other application that you go to file, then you bring out save as, and so on. So this one doesn't have it. What you just need to do is that you just click on enter key, or you come out of this box here. Just come out of it, click on any part here, or as you are still in it, just click on your enter key to save it. So this has now been saved. So anytime I come back, I want to check my file, I'll just locate this name, design file, and I'll open it and I start working again. So as I've now done that, so what we are going to do now is that we are going to quickly know the different parts or the different section in Figma. There are 4 major parts in Figma. So number 1, we have the Figma canvas. So all this area here, they are called the Figma canvas. All this area that you can see here, this large, this gray, this gray side, this large gray side, sometimes maybe white, but I believe it is always gray. So this time we call it our Figma canvas. Now, what do we do on Figma canvas? Figma canvas, this is where all of your design happens. If you want to do anything you want to design, your website, your mobile apps, this is where you do all the design. So that's what we mean by the Figma canvas. Then 2, we have the Figma toolbar section. You just call it toolbar section. So these are our toolbar, where you have the tools you can use. Like during our intro to this course, we talk about shapes. That the 4 major shapes that you can use. That the 4 major shapes that you can use are the 4 major shapes that you can use are the rectangle, the line, the ellipse, the triangle, and so on. So these are the 4 major shapes that you can use when it comes to wire frame. So I think we talk about that in our first class. So if you don't have that, or if you didn't join the lesson for that, sorry to say. So there's a file that has been dropped on our WhatsApp group, and I believe to also be sent to our own person, to each and every one of us email. So you can just go through the documents So you have we've talked about wireframing. That is a very simple topic to understand. So the major shapes that we use for a wireframe or even for designing is just this rectangle, um, ellipse, triangle, and so on. For the wire, just go through it. You have more. It will be more clearer to you. I don't want to go back to that now because of this particular lesson we are having today. So these are the tools. So what I'm really saying is that these are all the tools you can use. When you click on this small arrow here beside this rectangle, it will bring out all the tools, all the shapes that you can use. We have rectangle, we have line, we have arrow, we have ellipse, which is circle, we have polygon, star, we have image, video. All this we talk about all this. Then we also have their shortcuts that you can quickly use. So that means if I don't want to just click on my rectangle here, I can just hit letter R on the keyboard, then I have my rectangle instead of coming to this side. So it will be sure to keep on showing this, like I said, because this is the first time we are using this our account, the Gmail account on Figma. So you can just say got it. It's trying to explain to us all what we can do. But as we continue with this lesson, I'll be telling us everything that you need to know. So that is all about shortcut keys. And just click on if I want to make circle, just type O. I mean click on O on the keyboard. That will make a circle and so on. So other tools that we have our pen tool, we have our pencil tool, we have our test. T is for test. We have our comment. This one is for comments. So I'll tell us as we continue with this course. I'll tell us what this comments is really for in designing. What is meant for between the designer and the developers, the programmers. So we have actions, we have draw, we have design, we have dev mode, we have our frame, and we have our move. Now, one thing that is very important now for you to know is that when you look at all these small arrow beside all these tools, what is really showing you is that there are some other things embedded inside each and every one of them. Like this frame, there are some other things that are inside that you can use, but it's hidden. So for you to see other things that are hidden, just click on this small arrow here. When you click on it, you see other tools that you can use. So by default what you are having by default is the move tool, which is this. By default what you are having here is frame. By default what you are having here is always rectangle, because I'll change it to circle. By default, if you open your Figma, this is what you have by default. By default you have this pen and so on. So as we continue with this lesson, we'll understand all what each and every one of these tools, what you can use them to do. Then like I said, this part is our canvas section, our Figma canvas section. This part is our toolbar. I told us that we have 4 parts in Figma interface. So this is the canvas, the large place where you can do all your designing, because obviously you can't do designing on this place or on this place or on this toolbar. So it is this place that you do your designing. Then these are the tools you make use of to do the designing on this canvas section. Now, what are all these 2 other parts? This one and this one, what are they called? So this side over here is what we call our layer 3. We call it our layer 3. That's what we call our layer 3. Then this side we call it our property panel. We call that side our property panel. So that will take us to the next section, or to the next let me say subtopic of this class. So like I said, this is the layer panel and this is the properties panel. So let's quickly go to I've explained the shape tools, everything you can find there. Like I said, when you click on this, you see some other shapes that you have. So let me take this out. Let me take this out, and let me take this out. I want us to use just only 1 hour to cover this lesson, so I'll be make sure that I'm fast as possible, and also put us in mind that I need to, even though as I'm fast, I need to make sure that you grab um, everything that you need to understand. So here I'm going to create a shape here. This is a shape. We want to work on all this shape. This is a line. This is a circle. This is a star. This is a polygon. And this is arrow. So we want to work on all this shape. So the reason why I brought all this shape out is because we want to just, what I want to explain now, I want to explain something on each and every one. I want to explain something now that I can use any one of the shape to do that. So just follow along. So this will take us to what we call the selection concepts. Take us to what we call the selection concepts. I'm not bringing out the other tools are maybe like image. Is actually the image where you have where you can insert image, some other things. It's bringing it's bringing out this so that I can just insert my image. But what I want to explain now is not really on talking about image aspect. So this will take us to what we call the selection. So what do you mean by selection concept? The selection concept in design is very important concept to understand. It is used to select the objects or shape. When I say object, I also mean shape. It's used to select the objects or shape that you want to design. So the move tool and scale tool are capable of selecting items, while the hand tool will make you drag the canvas to a portion where you have space to do more design. Now what this is talking about is that it says the move tool. What do you mean by this? Is the move tool. This is our move tool here. So we say our move tool is capable to allow us to select objects. For example, now when I click on this move tool, by default, like I said, by default it comes out like this. This is the move tool. The shortcut is V. So the move tool just allow us to select. You can select this one now, and you notice that anyone that I select, any object that I select, you see these 4 small boxes on it, and with this blue line connecting the 4 boxes. So that means all this one now, they are not selected. That's why that blue line is not on it. If I click on this now, you see that all these are selected. If I click on this, these are selected. If I click on this, this is selected. This is selected. This is selected, and so on. So that is what the move tool will help us to do. To select and also to move, according to the name, to move. Can drag to anywhere you want. Then the scale tool. The scale tool now, we won't take that for now. As we continue with this lesson, on our other lesson, we are going to look at what the scale tool, what it does. But for now, we won't talk about it for now. Then the hand tool, which is H shortcut, is just to move the entire canvas. Can move the entire canvas. Maybe, for example, now I want to do something above for these shapes. I can just move this one down. So what I'm doing, I'm moving the entire canvas, not just the objects. I'm moving the entire canvas. I can move to anywhere I want, so that I can have space to do other things I want to do. So that is what the move tool is for. And the shortcut is the H. So let me go back to to the move to. And lastly, let me just quickly tell us that one thing about this canvas is that it's very, very large. So you can do so many things on it. See, it's very, very large. It's very large that you can do whatever things you want to do. So what I did is I just zoom in. I can zoom out back. To get those shapes back. So let me bring this one here. So when you are doing that, when you are zooming in and zooming out like this, make sure that you notice where the shapes is before you zoom out back, or else you now start looking for it. Start looking for your design that you have done. So now the selection concept that we have are of two types. So types of selection in Figma are the normal selection. Like I said, this is all my selection. When you click on any one, it's just selection. But we now have two types of this selection. We have what we call the normal selection and the vector selection. Now, when an item or shape is selected, we say it is in normal selection. For example, if I select this rectangle or this circle, what I'm doing is in normal selection. So by then, I can now hold and drag. I can color, click on it, come to this fill with color. Like I said, this side is the property panel. So it's talking about the property of the property of everything you can do on a particular design or object. So these are all the property of what you can do on this design. That's how we call it the property panel. So here I can change the color. After being selected, I can change the color to any color of my choice. So here it is selected, but you make sure that you select. Like for example, now this circle is like this. Now I can't just you can see that it's not even showing it's not showing any property of any design of any object or shape, because I didn't select anyone. So if I select this circle now, you see that it's showing all the properties I can do on this circle. If I take it out, I didn't select anything, it won't show any property for any of these shapes here or objects here. So that is that. Now let's go to the vector. What do you mean by the vector? The vector selection, for you to get into vector selection mode, all what you need to do is to be in normal selection mode first, because it's not possible that you'll be in you can't go straight to vector selection mode. So you must be in vector selection mode first before you go into you must be in normal selection mode before you go into vector selection mode. It's like someone having the building and you have gates as your entrance. So you must enter into the gate first before you enter into the house or any part of the house. So what I'm saying is that you must be in normal selection mode first before you now enter into vector selection mode. And how do you enter into vector selection mode? Now okay, let me use that on this. Now I'm in normal selection mode. Don't forget, how do you know that it's normal selection mode? You have these 4 boxes on it. If I get to vector selection mode now, you will see that all these square boxes to turn to circle boxes, and there will still be 4, but to turn to circle boxes. So to get to vector selection mode, just hit enter key on your keyboard. Simple as that. So this is what we call the vector selection mode. It's bringing out this because, like I said, so these are all the properties you can do or you can work on without vector selection. That's why I brought this one out. I'll just say got it. It's trying to tell me, like I said, because I'm using this Gmail on this Figma for the first time. So this is our vector selection mode. So there's what you can do with this on the vector selection, which we are going to quickly talk about now. So you now note that For you to confirm it is in vector selection mode, at the top right side of the property panel, at this top right side, this is the top right side of the property panel, you see that it says vector. So this is another way of knowing that it's in vector mode. Either you see vector here, or you can identify it with this circle, with this small circle here around the bigger one, as in the shape, the ellipse. So this is a vector mode. For you to go back to normal selection mode, it's still the same thing. It's the enter key on your keyboard. You can see the vector is not here again. So this means you are in normal selection mode. So let's go back to vector selection mode. So here we are in vector selection mode. Now you may be asking, well, what is now the main reason? What is now the main reason for being in normal selection mode and vector selection mode? So that's what will take us to the next part of this lesson, which is differences between normal selection mode and vector selection mode. Now, normal selection mode limits you to design and to edit objects, while vector selection mode gives you more chances or more advantages to designing and editing objects. So if you are in normal selection mode, it gives you like you don't have that more power or more chances to really design what you really wants to do. But in vector selection mode, it gives you more advantages on designing the particular objects that you want to design. Then so this does not mean that you have to go to vector mode always. So you need to know when it is necessary for you to use vector mode, as well as we discuss it further in this course. So you need to know when you have to use vector selection mode and when you have to use normal selection mode. So let me just go back to this. So now this also takes us to increasing and decreasing the height or width of an object using move tool. For example, to increase or reduce the size of a rectangle, so you need to that is in normal selection mode. Just go to this property panel that we have here, then increase or reduce the size. All you just need to do, you can just come, let's assume I want to reduce this size downward. Just click on this, hold it, drag it. If I want to take it to the other side, increase the width, or do this. So any parts of it, just with your mouse, your left button, and you just drag. Or I can come over here. Like I said, that all these are the property of what you can do here. If I want to increase the height, I can just come here, click on this, give it a particular number, 100, 200, or any. Let me take it back. Height you want to give it. Now, increasing and decreasing the height or the width of an object using the scale tool. The scale tool is used to reduce or increase shape objects in an even proportion. I told you that we'll talk about scale tool, if you can remember. Now, the scale tool, what is the scale tool? The scale tool is different from move tool. For example, if you look at this, now you can see that it's moving, and this side of this shape still remain where it is. As I'm moving the right part, the left part still remain where it is. If I move the down part, if I move the height downward, it is only that downward part that is increasing downwardly or downward, while this top part is not following. But it is not like that for scale 2. Let me copy this. To copy, just say Ctrl C, or you say duplicate, Ctrl V, that's pasted on it. So I'll just bring it out. Now, when you look at this, let me make this one to be the example for the move, how we can move. Now look at what we happen to using scale. Just come here, click on the scale or your shortcut key K. Now, if I should hold this now, let me drag it. And you can see that everything, all the whole parts are following, they are moving at the same time. All the whole parts are moving at the same time. Even though I come downward there, still the same thing. All the whole parts are moving at the same time. Any part I am on any side of this rectangle, all the whole parts will be moving at the same time. The right difference between the move tool and the scale tool. The move tool cannot move every part at the same time. You can see it can't move every part at the same time. This is the move tool. But the scale tool is capable of moving all the parts. I can do that on any shape. I can do it on any shape. Either it is a rectangle, I can do it on any shape. So that is the function of the scale tool. Then now we talk about the hints to remember is that to remove or delete a shape, select such shape, then press the delete key. Now how do we delete? Very simple. Let me just talk about that. To delete, just select that shape, then you just press your delete key. For example, delete key. If you want to bring it back, as you all know, Ctrl Z, just press Ctrl Z to bring it back. Now let's just quickly talk one more about the property panel again of what you can do here. For example, like this shape that we have here, we can increase the rotation, which is measured in degree. You can say, okay, let me put 45 degree. So you can see this one as that is just the rotation part of it. So the reason why I show us this one is that Figma are measured in in 3 different units. Figma are measured in 3 different units. That means the measurements in Figma are in 3 different units. And what are the units? Let me bring out my notepad there so that I can write it out. So the units are, number 1, we have pixel. They are measured in pixels. They are measured in percentages, and they are measured in degrees. So these are the 3 measurements. These are the 3 measurements used in Figma: pixels, percentages, and degrees. So by default, Figma has set some of these measurements by default to percentage, some to pixels, and some to degrees. Now, what do I mean by that? Like this one, by default, you can't change it to pixel. It's already is rotation, so it's talking about angle. So this one is in degree. By default, is in degree. You cannot even change it to maybe percentage, or this one is in degree. Now, anyone that you don't see any sign of the units beside it, just know that those measurements are in pixels. Like anyone you didn't see any sign of measurements, like this degree here. For example, now if you see this small letter O or 0 on top, like a superscript on this, you know that okay, this measurement is talking about degree. But any value you see here, any value that you see here, that you can't find either percentage beside it or degree beside it, just know that such values or such measurements are measured in pixels. Then this one now is measured in percentages. This one too is measured in percentages, and so on. So that is just a brief discussion on the measurements in the Figma. Then let's quickly talk about how to maybe talk about corner radius. Corner radius. So like this shape, let me bring it back to. So like this shape here, I can give it a corner radius of maybe 20 to make it obvious. You can see a little bend at this side. So corner radius are of 4 types. We have the top right corner radius. This is the top right corner radius. This is the top left, and this is the bottom right, and this is the bottom left. Let me bring it out so that we can see it. So here is what we have. So what I did is this. I just click on this so that you can see each independently. You can see them one after the other. So this is our top left corner radius. This is our top right corner radius. This is our bottom right corner radius, and this is our bottom left corner radius. Now it's possible that I can just make changes on only one part. For example, I can set this one back to 0. So you can see that there is no corner radius showing here. It shows only on these other three parts, this part, this part, and this part. So I can decide to, okay, I don't want to make it to be on the top right. Let me make that one maybe 0 to maybe just reduce it a little. So you can see this one also. So the reason why I'm showing us or telling us all this is because when we come to the main designing of websites and app, so that it won't be strange to you again, so that you know that, okay, this is what we have learned before, and this is how to apply it. So you can make everything back in 0. Just everything back in 0. So to make it as it was before. So this is what we have here. So you can just close it back. To bring it out independently, just click on what you can see here. So that I can have each. So that is what you have. So that will take us to the next section of this class. So the other parts of this class, we go to the design tools, like I've said before. So the design tools, number one, that we have the design on this circle. So let me quickly just make this design on the circle also before we go to the next part. So here we have this circle over here. So we have three parts of this. We have the sweep, we have the ratio, and we have the stats. We have the sweep, we have the ratio, and we also have the stats. So what do we mean by that? Sorry for that, someone just called me to pay attention to something, which I will do that later. So here, what we have here now, you say you can be in normal mode or selection mode to edit circular shape. So you just click and hold that small point, which is called arc. To make an arc, hold it and drag it up or downward. The left and the left side and the right side. Now, what this is talking about is that, for example, now like this, I want to be in my normal mode to do this. So here you can just hold this arc here, press your left button down and drag it upward. You can see. So when you do that, immediately you do that, 3 points will appear, which are the sweep, the ratio, and the stats. These 3 points here, you can also see them on the property bar. The property panel. So you have you have the stats, you have the sweep, and we have the ratio. So they are also represented there. So you can do whatever you want to do on it, and bring this one here like this. This start, you can take it up, drag it up, and this sweep. This is the sweep. So you can form any shape or anything you want. So you can see that from circle, I was able to achieve this. From this shape being a circle before, I was able to achieve this. Why in my normal mode? But when I take this to vector mode, I can do so many things on this with vector mode. So I'll just don't forget, you hit your enter key. Now I'm in vector mode. So I can maybe take this something up here. I can do some little changes here. Just play with the points, with all these knobs or nodes. Just try to get something. So that is the vector point that you can work on here. So let me take it back to the normal mode. So the same thing with our rectangle also. Can do the same thing with our rectangle. Press enter key. Is in vector mode, so I can stretch this one now. For example, now when you notice something, like I said, you have a small circles part here at the four edges. Now when I select just only one, that's this part that I selected, I can do whatsoever I want to do on this particular edge or this part that was selected. How do you know it's selected? You see a blue color inside that small circle. While others, you don't have any color inside. So anything, any property I make on this, or any effects I make on this part, is going to affect only this part, but it will not affect the other parts because I only selected this part. For example, now I can give this side a corner radius of maybe, let me say 200. Okay, I think that is too much. Let me say 50. I just want us to see the changes. Let me say 50. Okay, that is too much also. Okay, let's say maybe 5. Now you can see that you have a little bend at this edge. Let me say maybe 10. You can see. So while others just remain the same way. Now I can also I can make changes on 2 parts at the same time, or 3 parts, or the 4 parts at the same time. What I just need to do is I'll select the other parts I want the same effects to be on. So to do that, press your shift key down on your keyboard and click on the. So what you need to do is that select the first one first, then press your shift key down and select the other part that you want. So you can see that we have the 2 blue. That blue color on this shows that okay, we have selected this both. I've selected the 2 parts. So when you make any changes here now, to affect those 2 parts, let's say 10 again. So you can see. Sorry, let me select it back again. Selecting the 2 parts. So let me say 20. Now you can see that this part, let me take that out so you can see it. Now this part and this part has been affected, leaving just only this part. So that is what you can also do on those that are coming out. Then you can also form maybe, okay, what about if, for example, now, because by default now the vector is bringing just only this 4, 1, 2, sorry, it's bringing only 1, 2, 3, 4. What about if I want my effect to be on this side, I don't want it to always be on this. So to do that is possible. Just you see that as you are scrolling as you are hovering on the shape, you see other points coming out, telling you that okay, you can create any other points on your own or by yourself instead of using the one that comes by default. So here I can just move this one now. I can just click on, I can move this one, move it somewhere here, and do whatsoever I want to do on that part. And if I don't want to move, let's assume I don't want to move down, I can just come to this pen tool, click on this pen tool, and select just click on any part that you want. Click on any part that you want. So as you are clicking, you can also see that the pen is stick to that shape, is not leaving it. So for you to make it to leave that shape or that point, just press your escape key on the keyboard, so it leaves that point. Then you can do whatsoever. Then you go back to your you can do whatsoever you want to do. Sorry. Then you go back to your normal move tool. Then you can do whatsoever you want to do on that particular point that you just created. So likewise, you can do same for the other shape like this star now. For example, like this star. Let's quickly work on this star also. So you need to go back to vector mode so that it can go out from it. So let's do on this now. On this star, just like we have three points on this circle earlier, we also have 3 points on this circle. We have the radius, the ratio, and the count. Now this one over here, like the counts. The count simply means by default what you have here, you have 5 counts of this star, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is come by default like that. Now you can change it to let's say maybe 8, 16, to any number that you want, either even or odd numbers. And we also have those property here, just like when I show you those points for circle. Also for this star, we also have those property here. You have the count, you have the ratio, and you have the radius. Like what we have here, we have the radius, we have the ratio, and we have the count. So here you can change it to maybe the count to 7. So you're having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And change it to any number. You can change it to 16. And so on. Then also you can play with the radius and the ratio. You can do that from here, or you just do that from here. So you can just play with the ratio, the radius. You can play with the radius. This is the radius. You can play with the counts, which is what we have done. You can play with the ratio. This is the ratio. So that is what that one does for us. Then you can also take this. Like you notice I'm doing this in normal mode. Now you can take this to vector mode by clicking the enter key on your keyboard and do some other little design that you want on that. Just play with it. So vector, using this vector mode may not maybe like you'll be wondering that what are we really, because when we come to how to design icons, because you can actually design icons by yourself instead of looking for icons on from the web, from the internet. You can design icons by yourself, like mail icons, like notification bell icons, so many icons that you can design by yourself. So that's why we use vector mode to do that. So this lesson is just for us to really know what it is. So that's why we are doing all this. Then lastly, let's work on this polygon also. So what can we do on polygon with the vector mode and normal mode? So we have ratio for this, which is only 1 point that you have for this, just only radius, not ratio. Now let's take it to vector mode and see what we can do on that. So with vector mode, we have this with vector mode. Now what you can do on this, you can also make some other points on it. Let me quickly explain something here. Now let's assume this shape, this point, like I said earlier, you want this shape now, because we've not talked about all this, the function of all this. So let's assume all this side now, you want only this side to look bent a little. Just click on this bend tool. We call this bend tool. Click on it. When you click on it, just hold and drag. So you see that it bends somehow like a mountain. So from polygon or triangle, we're able to achieve this. So let's go back to normal mode. So like I said, you have the corner radius, and also it's possible for you to change this triangle to any other shape. So this is your the corner radius. Looking for where we have that here. We have it somewhere. I think it should be on normal or vector selection. Now we can do that. Okay, so let's go to the arrow key here. Now you can see that this arrow line is not like straight. So to do that, that means you have to play with the rotation, which is the angle. So you just come up somewhere here and set it to 0° so that it will look straight. So it's not looking straight. You can also play with it on your vector mode. Just hit enter key. Anytime you want to go to vector mode, don't forget, always hit the enter key. And form another node here we explained the other time. So the same thing with line. This line is not straight. I can just hold it, click on it, and give it 0° also to make it straight. Another thing you can do on this rectangle, this arrow key, is that this edge here, you can change the look of this edge here, which is the main part of the arrow. You can change it. For example, to do that, just scroll down, like the position. Now you can change the position to center, you can change it to outside. Let me make it bold or increase so that we can see that effect changing. That is where this place you can change the width of it. Then here you can say, okay, the starting point, I want the starting point to be a round point, or I want it to be a square point. So I can make it to be a round point, starting point. I can make it to be a square point, and so on. So these are the line. So you click, what happens there is that you click on the type that you want first, then before you now make the changes here. So you can make it to be a triangle arrow, a reverse one, a circular one, a diamond one, which is the starting point. Then the ending point you have fed this side. So the ending point here, you can choose again. You can choose any type that you want here. So when you have done that, then you can select any of the style that you want here. Select any of the style that you want here. So I think that's what you can just quickly talk about that. You can give it a stroke color also. We still go to what we mean by stroke color. You can give it a stroke color, and also the percentages of that stroke color, which is the opacity, which we also talk about all this. So let's quickly go to the next section of this lesson. And let's get to tests. So I'll take all this out. Just delete, or you just select everything at once. Hold your left, click on any part of the canvas, hold your left button down and highlight and drag and highlight everything at once and delete. So welcome to the test section of this course. So here we are going to talk about the properties that we can use on our test. So for example, like this T that you can see here is the test icon, like what you know before, where you can quickly make some tests you want to use on your design. So the shortcut for that is letter T. So here what we're going to do now, I'm going to create just a dummy test. To create a dummy test, you just go to your web browser, you type in Lorem Ipsum generator. So when you do that, I want to check my network, showing not connected there. I don't know why it's doing that. Let me disconnect and reconnect again. So when you type in Lorem ipsum generator, Lorem ipsum generator is a dummy test, because as for designers or programmers, you might not have any tests for you to like quickly bring out or think of. So Lorem ipsum, sorry, is there for us to just create a kind of dummy test, so that to make your work flow, to make your work to move to flow very very well. Okay, I think let me just make it's not yet connecting. Let me just create any test on my own. So let's go back to it. So now there are two modes of creating tests in Figma. So let me quickly just tell us this. It is actually possible that you can continue with your work even if your network is misbehaving, or even if you are out of internet. It's possible that you can still continue you didn't close the tab, so you can still continue with it. So once the network comes back, you just make sure that you save your work. And if you don't want to do that, even though maybe the system goes off, or you mistakenly close the tab, Figma is still there to like help you save your work as a draft. So you can still be able, but only that you may not have access, like that Lorem someone want to get now, you will not have access to it because there's no, you're having challenge with the network, the internet, and there are some plugins also that you may not have access to, except you have downloaded it offline on your system. So that's why we can be able to continue with this, using Figma. And actually you can download Figma actually on your system, which maybe later I'll tell you about how to go about that. You can download Figma directly on your system. You can use it at any time without you using your internet. So the different type of tests that we have the test that you can create a box for it. Let me go back to this T. You can define a space for your test, or you just, let me go back to the T again, or you just click on the canvas space and start typing. Now there are two different things here. I just and describe or illustrate to you now. Now when you drag, after you click on the T and you drag the text box, we call it text box. So that shows that you have confined your text to a particular point. For example, now I may not be able to come up with anything now. Let me say this is me typing about the use of text tool. You notice what will happen in Figma. Now you can see that Figma, this place cannot contain this Figma again. Then it goes to the next line automatically by itself without we pressing enter key on our keyboard. So if I continue typing again, let me just like type the same word again. This is me still typing and still learning user interface design. So you can see that it's breaking down by itself. It's because I have actually confined this text to this box. But if okay, but before I explain the second part, now if for example now you want to leave this test, for example now I can't start editing anything now on this test as it is. I cannot come to this property now, although these are all the property for the text box, but I cannot start editing anything now. It will not appear. For example now if I click on maybe 24, you can see that it's 24 right here, but it's not, nothing is happening here. So it's because if this cursor that is blinking is still inside the text box waiting for me to continue typing. So for me to come out of it so that I can have set some properties on this text, just click on any part of this canvas, click on any part. So it enters normal mode by itself, which means it enters selection mode now. So I can come here, and since I change back to 12, I can come here, click on that 24 now, then it has been affected. So as you continue with this, when you notice something also, you notice that this interface is out of the box. This is out of this box. Very soon we'll talk about how to fix that, which we'll also talk about in this lesson before we round up. So I think I'm still having some minutes left. So let me take it back to how it was before. So this is what we have now. The other, let me explain the other parts, which is just you selecting the text, or you just hit T on your keyboard. Then you just don't define any box now. Just click on that canvas after you might have selected T. Then just click on the canvas and start typing. This is me typing. Now I can be able to type everything here continually without me breaking it, except I want to break it by myself. This is me typing about the use of test2 in Figma. This is still me typing, still me typing and still learning, and so on like that. Now you can see that nothing breaks to the next line, except I hit the enter key by myself and I enter the next line by myself. I type, I hit the enter key again, I type, I hit the enter key again, I type. So those are the two different modes of typing. Of making use of our text in Figma. So let's quickly go to what we can now, the properties of what we can do on this now. So if, for example, now, like I showed you the other time, I want to increase the font style or the font face. You can call it font style or font face. I want to increase the size. Just come here and increase the size to any number that I want. So let me say maybe 16. I can also change the what we call, you can have a extra light, regular, medium. That is how bold or how light you want your text to be. So these are all the functions here, black, so on. Then this one here is your font face, like I said earlier, your font style. So when you click on it, okay, I think my internet is back. So when you click on it, you can just let me close that and open it back again. So you should be able to load. It's not loading those. So you just select any, or let me just by default, let me just type anyone that I want. Let me say I want Roboto. So I click then the enter key. I hit the enter key. Let me say I want Sarella. I don't know why it's not supposed to show those font style. Sarella. So for yours to show all those font style that you want, so just click on anyone and select anyone that you want. We'll go back to regular. the effect is changing, but it's not actually bringing the names out. I think it's still with my issue with the network. It's not bringing out all the name, but the effects I can see if you can see here, the effects are changing. But so I can just check anyone that I want and select anyone. Same thing with this. Just change it. Now there's what we call um auto height. Line height and letter spacing. Now the line height, let me take it to the normal um the normal which is the normal font style. Now what we mean by the line height is the space. Is the space between this text here. If you look at this sentence up here and this one that was broken down here, the space between them, this space here, I see where my mouse is as I'm moving the mouse. So that space between them is what we call the line height. Between one line of sentence and the other one below it, the space between them is what we call the line height. So as a UI UX person, when you are developing your app or developing a website, you should also be able to consider the people that are reading the text. That means the reader should be able to consider. You should not let your text to be jam-packed. So you should make sure that it's very visible. Users or readers can really get what you are trying to pass across to them. Because if the text is not well organized, I mean that is about talking about that line space and the line height. So readers will not be able to, because one thing about building app or website is not only talking about the designing, also it's talking about the user experiencing part. Although we are talking about now, what we have been talking about now is the designing part. So you must also put your users in mind also. How will they feel about the app? Although I've explained all this in our first class, your users also, you must put them in your mind that will they be able to read this text very well? Won't it disturb them or distract them? So all those things are what we still consider also in this lesson as we continue because of our time. So the line height here, you can change it to this is where you change the line height. I'm just actually showing you where you can make effect on the line height. So by default, it comes out like this, which is the auto. So you can change it to, let me make it obvious so that we can see the effect. It's 20. Let's make it maybe 50. So you can see the spacing between this. So let me bring it down here. So as a user experience person or UI UX person, you can't create a text like this because the space even is too much, and this will already even occupy most of your design parts. To occupy so many parts on any device, either mobile device or laptop, to already occupy space on that screen. So so that's what line height is all about. So you can just leave it at maybe 14. Okay, let's do the one that will jump back. Let's say maybe we'll put it at 5. And you can see this one. So this one now, what the person needs to do is just to come here and change the line height. So let's say 16, or let's say 20. So here we have it. So that's just what the line height is all about. I'm just showing you all this because we will go to the main designing of the app and website, so everything will just flow normally. That's me coming back to all this. Then letter spacing. Letter spacing is the space between the letters of a word. Like this is a word, is a word. So the space between the letters that make up that word is what we mean by letter spacing. So let me make it obvious also. Let's say maybe 30. So you can see the The line height still remain the same, which is 20, but the letter spacing now, you can see the space between each word. So there is when you can design something like this. There is when to use something like this. Maybe in your design, in your design, there's when you can use something not for a long sentence like this, maybe for a short one, or for like 2 words. It's when you can do something like this, which is acceptable for like 2 words. You can design something like this. So what I'm just saying that is when to use all this. And the other part that we have now is that part that I told you earlier that we are going to talk about. That when you look at this now, you can see that what we type now is out of this box. So which is now this is taken out to the next section of this class. So to make it this box also to cover this because it's out. If I continue typing now, so let me go back to the typing. To go back to continue typing, just double click on that text box. Then you can continue with your typing. So let me say I will continue with my typing as we proceed in this class. Now you can see that that box that that was defined initially is just to be constrained on this side, but you can see that those as I am typing, the text are out of that box. So to fix this, like I said, it's taking us to our next section. To fix this, we go to what we call the auto width. This is the auto width. We go to what we call the auto width, the auto height, and the fixed size. Now this one now is dealing with the height. It's not dealing with width. It's dealing with height. So what I'll just do, I'll go to my auto height and click on it. So this will be able to hold or anything that I type. If I continue typing, it won't drop down. It won't drop. Let me continue typing now. It will not drop down because I've set it to auto width. I say that is not, that's what I'm typing is not dropping down. Sorry, I'm just like, because of our time, you can see what I'm typing is not dropping down, unlike before it went down. Those tests went down until now that I set it to auto height. Then the auto width, we have auto width also. Just like sometimes when you type also and it goes out of what you have defined before, you just click on your auto height. Like this one is the auto height by default. The one I said that when you just click on your canvas and you start typing. So by default is on auto height. But the one that you make you define a text box for it, that one will be set to fixed, to be set to fixed size. That means you are the one that just set that size by yourself. If you actually want something that is not too long, just set it to that fixed size by yourself. So this one also here now, you can set it to fixed size also. You can change from one to another. You can say fixed size. That's changed to fixed size now. Now if I should type now, it will break down because I changed it to fixed size. I say that it's breaking down. The reason because I changed it to fixed size. So let me take it back to auto height. Then it comes to auto height. And having said that, this also will lead us to the next class, which I think we are going to round up with it now, with the lessons now. So we talk about auto width, we talk about fit size, and auto height properties. So let's go to alignments, and after the alignments, so I think we'll stop there. Then in the next class we'll talk about object visibility, and we'll talk about the design tree in our next class. So let's quickly go to alignments. What do you mean by alignment? Alignment simply means the way your text, you want your text to the positioning of your text. Now what do I mean by that? For example, now let me take all this out also. let me take all this out. Now if I let me define a text box for it so that I can be able to explain. Now we have two major types of alignment. We have the horizontal alignment. We have the horizontal alignment. Sorry if I didn't get that spelling very well. We have the horizontal alignment and we have the vertical alignment. Now, what do you mean by the horizontal alignment? Means anything with type will remain by default, will remain at the left side by default. Let me take back again. Don't forget, you can be using your shortcut key to make it what you are doing to be very fast. So let me just say tests. Now you can see that don't forget to go out of this test mode. Just click on any part of the canvas so that you can go out of it and you can be able to do whatever you want to do. Because once I'm staying inside, I cannot do anything. Now I was trying to move this. You can see it's not moving. I was trying to move it as in this line here. So I need to go out of it. So you can see that this, as I'm moving this width, moving the width, here you can also change. I didn't talk about this, about dimension. So here you can also quickly change your width from here instead of dragging it. You can also change your height. I think I said that before. So you can do all that here. So as I'm moving this, you can see that this text keeps remaining here. It's not moving. It's just standing there. It's not moving. So for me to move it out to the center now, what I'll just do is just to go to the alignment property here. So I'll just click and see align left. So by default is at this position, which is align left. So I can just say align center. So it brings me to the center. So the reason why I increase this width so that you can be able to be visible. I can't explain this just using this. It may not be really visible. So that was why I increased this. So this is the align center. Then why they still on this, while you select it, you keep it selected. So why is this selected? Go to your align right. So this is the align right. So that is all about horizontal alignment. Why the vertical? Let me take it back to the default. So why the vertical alignment? Let me make another box, divide the box for this also. So this like this is horizontal, this like this is vertical. Let's say test also here. Test. Don't forget, if I make any changes now, nothing will happen until I go out of this text box by clicking any part of the canvas. So these properties there are for the aligning vertically. While these properties here are for alignment horizontally. So by default is always align top when we talk about vertical alignment. Why by default for horizontal alignment is always aligned to the left by default. So by default align top. So I can bring it to the middle. Just click on this. So which is align middle, and bring it to this align bottom. So this what we can do or talk about alignment. So in our next class we'll talk about all, like I said, we'll go to the next class and talk about so many other things that we are going to learn and talk about. For example, like I said earlier, like our design, like our visibility design. Like our like our design tree, object visibility, we talk about colors, talk about trying to bring the subtopics out, talk about colors, we talk about how to use color picker, opacity, talk about color pattern, where we have our hexadecimal, we have our, the color pattern, we have our solid, linear, the radial, the angular, and diamond. So we also talk about the different types of colors that we have. Then we also talk about margin and padding, talk about frame, and so on. So these are what we will look at in our next class. So thank you so much for today's class. So I hope to see you in our next class. So please, I would like you to subscribe to our channel, and also like and make comments on what you say about this lesson. So thank you so much. I'll see you in the next class. Have a wonderful day ahead.